Welcome back to the Road Show. This morning in The Buzz, we're talking about Operation Deception. By now, most people have heard about the arrest of 3 Providence police officers on charges that they took part in a major drug ring. Now, following those arrests, Providence Mayor David Cicilline wants officers to be randomly checked for drugs. But the Providence Police Union and the ACLU are objecting to that order. In a statement, the union said testing would be illegal and called it an attempt by the mayor to shift blame away from himself. So the question is, do you think that Providence police should be randomly drug tested? And this is a tricky one, guys.
Yeah, it is. For a police officer, and their best interest is, of course, protecting the community, and you hope that they're in their right frame of mind while they're doing that. Of course, I would like them to be, clean and sober when they're on the job. This whole thing happening, obviously, the emotions are so raw right now, and the gut check, the quick reaction to this. In a short answer, do I want them to be tested? Of course I do. I want them to be in their best frame of mind when they're on the job.
What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, I'm with Pat. I mean, if there's ever a job that you should be clean and sober during your job. I'm not saying when you get off your shift, something as stressful as being a police officer, go out and have a couple of drinks with your buddy on your day off or whatever. But, if cops are doing drugs or anything like that on the job, they're our last line of defense. They're protecting the citizens of Rhode Island.
Here's the other thing. I think it's protecting. I can see both sides of this, but I think it could be protecting the police officers as well. You're doing the undercover narcotics thing, and that's your assignment. You're around a lot of money. You're around a lot of drugs. You're around a lot of temptations.
I was going to say a lot of temptations.
And it wouldn't surprise me if there are police officers who succumb to these temptations. Sure. So why not put another layer of defense for the police officers to say, listen, man, it's just like, with sports players. I can't be doing this because they're going to test me, and I got to stay on that narrow path. However, is it illegal? The ACLU is saying that there is a law in the books that's been there for decades that says you can't simply do this.
Well, change the law. I have friends that work in cubicles that have to go through drug testing.
Well, and here's the other
really, we're not going to test police officers who are trying to protect us, but friends and what I'm sure everybody out there has a friend or so that has had to do a drug test for a job certainly not as important, or as people's lives are in danger like a police officer.
Well, I can understand the union. I can understand the union's job, and that is to protect the people that are in their union, and they're going to do that. The invasion of privacy and so forth and so on. But my question is there's got to be a better way to approach this to make it happen, because what do they have to hide? What would a police officer have to hide? Why would you not want to be
tested?
What is the...
I think the other side is saying, listen, this is, once you start going down this path of saying to people who are, in large part, outstanding citizens who protect other citizens, it's like, why do I have to be subjected to this? It's my personal life. You should trust me. It's Big Brother.
And publicly, anyway, like publicly saying, you know what I mean? No one would know if you and I got drug tested here at the office, right?
Right.
Because, why would they? It's just not public information. Do that sort of thing behind the scenes and just do it, but don't make a big spectacle out of it.
Yeah.
I think
if somebody fails, don't put it on the cover of the paper. Just handle it,
internally.
Well, and maybe that's the problem too, because once you do test, if it does come up positive, then a lot of this has to do with public information laws and freedom of information rights and that sort of thing. And so you probably would find out. But Courtney, I'm curious, because there are certainly very strong opinions on both sides. Some people say, listen, what's the big deal? Just do it. And other people think, listen, you go down this path, and little by little, you're encroaching on people's personal lives.
What's interesting is all of our comments on Facebook and the blog are in favor of the drug testing, except for one person. So I know there's more out there. Hopefully they can weigh in and we can have a 50-50 here on this topic. But let me read some comments from the poll. This one's from Lisa on the live blog. Yes, they should be randomly tested. Why not if they have nothing to hide? If they aren't doing anything illegal, then they shouldn't worry about it. Joe A. says if the law allows drug testing for the police officers, I say yes. The police are not above the law. And Smokey Wolf says, I used to be a bus driver, and we always had random drug tests, and I always thought that I was doing my part. We have a poll here that we're asking you guys on our homepage. And do you think police officers should be subject to random drug tests? A, yes, B, no, or C, I'm not sure. And you can also read more about this story on foxprovidence.com as well. And once you visit Facebook this morning, you can weigh in with the rest of our fans here. And Pamela says, I think any person who is required to take a drug test to get a job should be required to submit to random tests. Aaron Scorpio says, I think in light of what's happened, it covers everyone involved. If you're not doing anything wrong, there shouldn't be a problem. And then Margarita says, because of a few shady officers, I do not feel it is right to drag them all into it. There are many dedicated officers who take their jobs serious. So we have a bunch of comments here this morning, and on the story page as well. Folks are leaving comments at the bottom of the page. So I will be back with those poll results to see what officially you guys are saying this morning. But for now, we'll head back to the kitchen. Lily, what's going on?
Well, I tell you what.